When you think about the Nashville Zoo, the Florida Keys and the Caribbean probably don't come to mind, but they are doing something behind the scenes to keep the waters in those areas thriving. News 2's Davis Nolan explains in this week's Zoopalooza.
Much like the Nashville Zoo helps keep endangered animal species from going extinct through the Species Survival Plan, they're also helping coral reefs in the Keys and the Caribbean.
There has been a disease that has gone through the Florida Keys and is now going through the rest of the Caribbean called stony coral tissue loss disease. And this disease, unfortunately, will kill the coral that may have taken heads of coral that may be hundreds of years old, and it will kill them within weeks to months.
The disease is fast-moving and it will eventually pass, but many corals will have died before then. So in conjunction with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, including the Nashville Zoo and other aquariums and universities, have removed some coral before the disease reached them and brought them back to their labs.
And then the ultimate goal is to get them to reproduce. So these corals are never going to go back out in the wild, very unlikely. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to put their babies back out in the wild. What we found is that, but they produce lots of offspring. So even a colony that's very small can produce thousands upon thousands of offspring. And so we can produce way more coral recruits that we can put out into the wild through sexual reproduction than we can do through just fragmenting the coral and then growing it out that way. And so then we can start putting these corals back out into the wild once that disease has moved its way through, and then they can survive again.
Although they found that they could apply an antibiotic paste around the disease part of the coral, as you can see these divers doing here, it would be virtually impossible to do that all over the Florida Keys and the Caribbean.
But you can see where the big white spots, it just forms, and then the tissue just dies from there. And so if they don't put that band on it, the antibiotic tissue paste, then it won't ultimately survive. But what they've done is they went out to all these reefs that were ahead of the disease line. They found colonies that were about this big and about the size that we have here. They removed just a few of them from each reef. They spread it out over the course of the whole Keys so that they weren't removing like an entire reef or anything like that. And they just removed a few of them from each reef and then spread them out through the other facilities.
So it may be hard to believe, but baby corals that are being born here at the Nashville Zoo may one day be replenishing the reefs in the Florida Keys and the Caribbean. I'm Davis Nolan, News 2.
To see more of Zoopalooza feature stories, head on over to WKRN.com, click on the News tab at the top left of the homepage and find Nashville Zoo.